Hi, and welcome to 15 minutes of consulting best practices. For those of you who are new here, and those of you who just need a reminder, format's really simple. You ask questions, just type them in the chat, and they can be about anything having to do with your consulting practice. And we, or in this case, me, in this case, I'll do my best to answer them and give you the guidance you need so you have a more successful, lucrative, rewarding practice. I am David A. Fields, and I am fresh back from my month in Peru. Just got back yesterday. I have no idea what questions there have been and what might be in the bag. So we'll see what's in store for us today. I will answer the most important question that many of you have, though, which is yes, I did find my new most favorite chocolate in the world in Peru. So if anybody wants to know what that is, unfortunately, it's not available in the US, but if you want to know, I will let you know what that is. So with that said, let me know you're here, and that way I get to see you after a month away and know that you're here. So type that you're here in the chat, type in your questions, and we'll dive in and tackle whatever was left over. I think there were some questions left over from previous weeks. So Jaron, show me what we have, and I'll answer questions that were submitted. Okay, let's see. Todd asked, I'm getting close to launching my consulting practice. Okay, congratulations to Todd. What are the first things I should do when I launch to get the word out? Oh, okay. Well, the first things you should do is, of course, contact everyone you know. So pull your entire contact list together and reach out, send emails, schedule conversations, because emails will get lost and any announcements will get lost. Schedule conversations where you can let people know what you're doing. And of course, inquire about them and tell them and learn what's going on in their lives. But it's okay for you to say, hey, look, I've got some news and I'd love to share it with you. I've launched this practice. That's the most important thing. Of course, you're going to make an announcement on LinkedIn, and that's pretty much the social media avenue you need. But getting the word out, those are your first two avenues. Now, I'm thinking about this on the fly. As much as possible, to the extent you can arrange some events with collaborators, some alliance partners who will promote you to their tribes, who will say, here's Todd, and Todd has this expertise and has just launched his practice and has some interesting ideas. Then you can get in front of their tribes, perhaps in a webinar, or perhaps you write an article for them. All of those sorts of pieces you do from the very start. Let's say who's saying hello. Hi, Tom. Hi, Dan. Welcome back to reality. Yeah, exactly. Cassius, excellent. Yeah, Peru is amazing. So for anybody who hasn't gone, highly recommend it. Terrific place. If any of you have other suggestions for Todd, please put them in there. Todd, I don't know if you're back with us today, but if you are, let me know if that answers your question and starts pointing you in the right direction of where to go when you launch a practice. Launching a practice can feel a little bit, it can feel daunting. And finding your first client or two can feel a little daunting, but you'll get there. Just stay right side up, connect with as many people as possible in person, one-on-one, not necessarily face-to-face live, but with actual conversations, and that will make the difference. I know we probably have other questions, but I just want to mention, because one of the emails that came in, I saw yesterday when I landed, was from someone who had recently read The Irresistible Consultant's Guide to Winning Clients and said he had launched his practice recently and was struggling to get clients and just thought, well, he could put a website up and somehow clients would come. I'm sure all of you know that doesn't work. You can't just put up a website. Tom, you said you've been writing weekly articles on LinkedIn, and that will absolutely help. Conversations, though, are where it's at. Oh, great. Todd, you are here. Perfect. I'm glad that answers it. Conversations, conversations, conversations. It's not just about doing marketing. It's about being in conversation with people. Okay. Tom, also outreach with LinkedIn messages. not emails. Emails do get lost. Yeah, 100%. Use email and use your messaging to set up conversation. That's your goal in every case, is to be able to be in a call where you're face to face. I don't see you right now, but you can see me. But imagine we're face to face. That is what you're looking for. That is how you will land clients. You must be in conversation. Okay, lecture over on that. So hope that helped. Todd, I'm glad that answered it. If any of you have follow-up questions on that or ideas, put them in there. Also, if you have questions, put them in the chat, because I don't know how many questions we had left over. So we'll see what we get to. Jaron, is there another question? There is, from Grace. We've built a solution that we put in place for a client, and it worked well. Okay, well, good. It seems we should be investing to take this solution to the market as an offering from our firm. All right. What should we think about before we make an investment in this product? Oh, I really like this question. This is, you are surfacing a hidden trap that a lot of consulting firms fall into, and a lot of solo practitioners and small consulting firms fall into, which is this idea that when you have a success, that means it can be extrapolated to the whole market, to the whole world. We're like, oh, wow, our client loved this. We should just go full bore on this solution, on this approach, on this way of talking about our business. And it's easy to do that because you've received positive feedback. And so you think this is the way to do things. So my number one recommendation for Grace and for all of you is, when you have a success that's terrific, your next step is to verify it. You have to verify that the market actually wants it, which means before you invest heavily in building out that solution, sell it at least 2 more times. Make sure that the market truly wants it, not just 1 more time, 2 more times. What we have found is, if 3 clients sign up for the same solution, the same approach, the same idea, solving the same problem, then you likely do have something that is market ready. But if 1 client loves what you do, what you know is 1 client loves what you do. You do not know that the market loves what you do. Okay, so really, Grace, before you go investing heavily into that solution, sell it at least 2 more times. Find out that at least 2 more clients have the same problem and love that solution. Now, keep in mind, there is a difference between same problem and same solution, or right problem and right solution, which are 2 parts of impact. So finding the right problem is actually the more important piece. And that's what's going to allow your firm to grow more rapidly, is if you have latched onto the right problem. The solution, if you find the right solution, can be scalable. But one of the big advantages of having a small firm is that you can tailor and customize your solution to each client. That's part of what allows you to command a premium. So be slightly cautious of just productizing what you have. So there's a couple thoughts on that. Again, if you have questions, if Grace is here, let me know whether that actually answered your question or not, or if you want to push back, or if any of you have had different experience, then let me know and we'll discuss it together. Okay, things run more quickly when it's just me and a few of you and you're not asking questions. But that's good. Jared, do we have any more questions? We do. We have one more question. Let's see. Chris says, a former client just landed a CMO role at a much bigger company. I assume a bigger company than he or she was at now. Oh, exactly my ideal client profile. Excellent. I feel like I should strike while the iron is hot and pitch my services. No, we don't want to pitch. That feels opportunistic and gross. You're right. What's the right side up move when someone in your network hits a career milestone that could benefit you? Okay. And it's Chris. Got it. You know someone, they they've become what you feel is your ideal client. And so now what? I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but back in when I was running Ascendant, back in days, and I had corporate client for a lot of years and used to travel to clients, and I would drive through these corporate office parks, right? To especially there's a client in Cleveland that I remember distinctly because they were at the very end of an office park, and you wind your way through one of these industrial parks, and there's all these buildings with signs on them for all these small businesses that most people have never heard of. And I always felt like, why aren't every one of these businesses a client? Every one of these businesses should be a client. And so it's, yeah, you do good work, you can help them. And in this case, it feels even more like they should be a client because you know them. And you're thinking, why isn't this person a client? They should be a client. I want to pitch them. And yet, pitching is not right side up. Pitching is not what we do. So what do? There's actually a very specific technique for this, and you can only use it in certain situations. The technique is called the overture. I'm assuming we've discussed it before on one of these, but I don't know for absolute certain. It is not in the Guide to Winning Clients, but it's a variation on a technique that you learn if you've read the Irresistible Consultant Guide to Winning Clients. And I'm pointing there because that's where the books are. The technique is called the overture. You can only use it with a contact with whom you have an A-level relationship, meaning you have a very strong relationship. Because if you have a B-level relationship, meaning you know them, they know you, but you wouldn't consider them strong friends, you don't have a lot of relationship equity to use, you can burn up the relationship and lose it. Okay, so this only works with A-level relationships and, ironically, C-level relationships, not B-level relationships. So in your case, if this person who became the CMO is someone where you feel like, yeah, we've got a really great relationship, I have some relationship equity with them, and therefore I can make an overture. And even if they're like, I don't think so, I'm not going to lose something, then that's where you use it. And the overture is much like the turn. It uses separation and agency, but in this case, you're going to make an overture. You're going to suggest perhaps there's an opportunity to work together. And it sounds something like this. You reach out to the CMO. First, you act interested in them because you are interested in them. You want to learn how they landed the position. What did they think about the position? You want to congratulate them and be right side up. Be focused on them. And then you can say, I think it would be really fun if we had an opportunity to work together. What do you think? Easy as that. Very simple. You're not pitching, you're just testing the waters. In most cases, they will either say, yeah, I don't think so. Not right now. I need to get my feet under me. Or they might say, yeah, maybe. What do you have in mind? In which case your response is, well, I'm not sure. What do you say we set up a separate 30-minute conversation and brainstorm a little bit? I've helped some new CMOs in the past. You can tell me a little bit about what you're doing, what the new position looks like, and we'll see. Maybe there's something there, maybe there's not. Okay. So you're not pitching. What you're doing is creating an opportunity for them to say, yes, they are willing to engage in a separate conversation to discuss whether there's a way to work together. That's how you handle that. Let me know if you have questions. Yet somehow, I think I've burned up our 15 minutes. So thank you for spending 15 minutes with me. Todd, question for another time. What are the hallmarks of an A-level relationships? Okay, yeah, we can do that. So we'll hit that next week maybe, or the week after, because next week, make sure you come because Derry Hughes is joining me. And Derry Hughes is an expert in skill development for consultants. And especially he'll talk to us about how do you scale your delivery engine. So also that means if you have any questions for Derry, you have any questions about how do you scale delivery, submit them, send an email. And so that'll be great. Oh, great. Thank you, Jaron. Right where it says submit questions for Derry, right there. It's also become clear to me that many of you don't receive my article announcements weekly. So you might not have even known I was in Peru. If you don't receive the article announcements, then you don't know about anything special we're doing, special programs, free webinars, all sorts of goodies that we pretty much only announce to subscribers. So subscribe. Jaron, thank you for putting that there. And finally, connect to me on LinkedIn. If you're not connected to me, Jaron, thank you for putting that down there. That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a great month of April, and I hope you have a fabulous week. Just keep in mind, consulting is about them. It's about your clients. It's about your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness, and I will see you next week. Take care, all.